Last time I saw you work in the corner was the Lomachenko fight versus your fight at Richard Commey.
Yes.
Interesting fight, to say the least. There was one point when Vasiliy Lomachenko was controlling the fight, and he turns to the corner and he's like yelling at y'all to stop the fight because he doesn't want to continue what he's doing to Richard Commey. Uncle Dre, my heart was in my chest because you faced with this situation. Did you think it was genuine from Lomachenko, or was he showing up your fighter? Like, what was going through your mind at this moment? He's yelling at you, yo, stop the fight because I don't want to continue what I'm doing.
Well, my thing was this. Whenever anybody does something like that, you trying to make an early exit. Any way you can. And I don't think it was like him being bravado about it, but the fact that, you know what, he got hit in the fight.
Lomachenko did.
Yeah,
by Commey.
you know, and there were moments when Richard hit him with some shots that I saw that little buckle. And in his mind, let me stop this before this kid actually lines one up on me. And that's it. So I thought it was fan fodder, if anything else. And he's like, yo, please, let's stop this now so I don't have to deal with it any much more than I am right at this moment.
Uncle Dre, that's a lot of calculations that you have to do in a short amount of time.
All day long, you got to be ready for it.
Because from the outside, some people could have said, well, maybe you could have stopped it because your fighter been getting beat up. But then you got to take in consideration his pride, like to have it stopped in that manner. And as you said, you felt like your fighter still has some life.
Right. You got to know your athlete. You got to, and the moment too. As soon as Lomachenko did that, I was like, that was the food that I needed to feed to Richard. The food. And it was a perfect moment. I said, you see what's going on? I said, he feels that he's got the upper hand big time now. I said, you want me to stop this? He said, no, Uncle, no. I said, you better go out there and light it up.
Yeah.
Let's go put that pressure on him. I said, do not have a tender moment in that ring. I said, you got hands of steel. Start using them. I said, you hit him every way you can. Let him know that you're there. And that was it.
And your fighter finished the fight.
He certainly did. He picked it up at certain points too.
He did. What do you think Commey could have done differently in that fight? Because I remember at the end, you know, sometimes trainers give perfunctory remarks like, yo, we tried, we were here. You were like, nah, I wanted him to do X, Y, and Z.
Right, no. I mean, we had worked on things and that Richard didn't do. I told Richard, I said, keep your hands up. He dropped his hands a lot in the fight, more so than I expected him to against the southpaw. And dropping his left hand was a major mistake. And I told him, just keep circling to your left. I said, circle like a shark. Keep circling and touching, and digging them downstairs to the body. And use your jab. So those were things that he didn't do. And if he would have, even when he got knocked down, I made a very important issue about that. Lomachenko was laying on his chest. He hit Richard with a left hand. His hands were on his hips, and he was standing straight up. What do you think is going to happen? He ate the full brunt of the shot, and he went down. And I was sitting there. I'll never forget. I'm like, I told him to keep his hands up and close, because he's quick. Lomo is quick, and you can't wait for him to do things like that because he will. So those were some of the things that were running through my mind. I always analyze the fight as it's going on, and then I analyze it afterwards so I can point out the mistakes that you might have made so we don't make those mistakes again.
Right.
So those were some of the things that I noticed that he didn't listen to. I kept yelling and screaming. Actually, I heard it when I watched it again. I was like, damn, that's me. Richard, keep your hands up.
Yeah.
Don't stand there waiting for him. Don't take pictures. Right. But once again, it was going to be tough. Richard is not as kinetic as Lomachenko is. Lomachenko is very kinetic. And Richard had to really bully him, and he didn't. He took that Mr. Nice stance too far.
Right.
So he should have been mean, and then you come back to nice. But those are things we have to work on.
The boxing and the technical aspect of it is one thing, but then you got the spectacle and the stage of the sport of boxing. And I wonder if sometimes the fighters are always prepared for that. Commey lost that fight to Lomachenko. That was December in Madison Square Garden. 2 years to the day, he lost to Timofimo Lopez in the Garden. You know, somebody like Commey is not from this country.
Right.
Was the stage too big for him? Is that a factor? And as a trainer, how do you help prepare your fighters for not just the technical aspect, but the spectacle, what to expect walking in Madison Square Garden?
Well, what you do is really you talk it out. Communication, once again, is very important. Mm-hmm. These are the moments that will make or break you. Mm-hmm. So you have to rise to the occasion. And this is why I'm the person that I am when we go on in that ring. I exude confidence when we're in the ring. Mm-hmm. I've came up with my little flying fist just to give them a little bit more energy about it. You know, those are things. We're here. Let's go. Let's have a good time with it. Let's get this win. So those are things you have to just keep feeding them and letting them process this so that they know that when the moment arises, you don't fall short. You don't start folding up like a house of cards.
What's next for Richard Commey?
He's currently in Ghana. He went to see his family, and he'll be back sometime around the end of January. And we'll start getting ready. We have another fight with the contract that we had set up, so we're going to get ready for that and just keep teaching them. Mm-hmm. Just keep teaching them. Commey came from a kickboxing background. And a lot of things that he does are quite reminiscent of what he did when he was kickboxing. Mm-hmm. You know, kickboxers sit way up in the air because they live up with their feet.
Yes.
And on the average, like the best kickboxing champion that I know of is my big brother, Yoel Judah.
Okay.
Used to watch him. Honestly, I used to watch him on YouTube, and the way, I mean, he was magnificent when it came to bringing the two genres together, boxing and kickboxing. Mm-hmm. His hands were fast, his movement was precise, and then his kicks were like dangerous, almost like kung fu movies. He flying kicks, roundhouse kicks. Oh, I mean, just amazing. If you guys take note of this, take a little look at Yoel Judah on YouTube when he was, I think he was a 5 or 6 time world kickboxing champion. Unbelievable. But he had more finesse. I think it came from being in the gym, in a boxing gym. And we're behind schedule with Richie because that's what
he's coming from kickboxing.
Right, he's coming from kickboxing. And like I told him, I said, Ike Corte, Azuma Nelson, the Kaladi brothers, those are all guys that came from Ghana, became world champions. You became a world champion also, but you have to maintain it. Mm-hmm. You have to maintain it. And to do that, you have to correct the mistakes. Practice. Correct the mistakes. And like I said, Richie's one of my favorites. I love him to death. He calls me Uncle Dre. I'm more like a father figure to him than anything else. Yeah. And I'm going to make sure he becomes a 2-time world champion.
That's good, because it was kind of emotional at the end of that fight. You know, he was kind of getting worked up after that loss, understandably so. But when you think about maybe what's the next step for his career, I was wondering if that's the end.
Well, I'm going to give him, he said something very, very poignant. Keith Conley's father, Pops Conley.
Yeah.
He has some health issues. Mm-hmm. And Richard said he wanted to win that fight for Pops because Pops always gave him great words. And he said, so you know what I'm going to do? I said, my next fight, I couldn't really give him that fight with Lomo because I didn't win. He said, but my next fight, I'm going to win. I'm going to dedicate it to Pops. That's going to be the one that I give to him because I let him down.
Wow.
Yeah.